this is Nola Ada, and you are now rocking with Il McKenzie. Right here.
Yo, what up, word? It's your man 504 Detroit. You already know every Tuesday and every Thursday I'm tuned in to the hottest radio station across the land, Quarantine Radio. They post it down and they play all the hottest new music. Let's get it.
It's your boy Gabe, and I want to give a big shout out to Quarantine Radio. Make sure you check them out every Tuesday and every Thursday. And thank you for supporting my new single, Down Low.
I want to hear that new soul-free wisdom on Quarantine Radio.
Yo, what's up, man? It's the Kid Swift, a baby, Young Swift. One time for the check-in with my dog, my homie, Il McKenzie, straight out of ATL, Georgia. And you know how we rockin' out here, baby. Let's get it. I tried being humble. I tried being humble. I tried being humble. Humble get no respect.
Yes, it's your boy Odd once again with another edition of Quarantine Radio. I actually stopped at the music a little bit too early. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, so a couple of things that's going on with Quarantine Radio, Quarantine Enterprise, and everything just started off. As you can see, we have our guest host once again from Debating Amongst Friends, Troy, is visiting us. It seemed like Brian and Joy is still on vacation from the holidays and everything.
That's okay.
So I appreciate Troy stepping in and everything. As I told who didn't tune in on Tuesday, we decided not to build our own flag football team. We are joining forces with the Gridiron Gang. So our first practice, like anybody that will hit me up about joining the flag football team, I try to email everybody, let them know exactly what's going on. And so hopefully everybody got it and not going to try to come out to practice on the 12th because we're not going to have practice. The first practice for the Gridiron Gang is the 19th, right?
19th.
Yeah, the 19th. I am going to be the defensive coordinator for that team. Troy is actually going to be working on the offense. Mm-hmm. We are building up the playbook, me and him, helping along. And it seems like we're actually going to have a special coach to help with the quarterbacks as well. So if you're interested in coming out and playing flag football, you can hit me up at info@quarantineenterprise.com, and I'll direct you to the head coach. I'm not going to be the head coach of this team. I'm just going to be a defensive coordinator. Other than that, if you look on the back wall, you see what's her name again? Naima. I do apologize, Naima. I'm gonna get your name. I'm gonna get your name because Troy ain't always gonna be here to remind me. So yeah, Naima. She's doing a play. If y'all remember, we interviewed her right before the holiday break. I found out, like, I totally slipped my mind when I actually saw the dates. That is the weekend of Super Bowl, and I am going to be in Atlanta. But I still want to support, so what I'm going to do is buy tickets, and I'm going to give them away, probably starting next week. So stay tuned. Listen in how you will be able to win those tickets. If you go back to the interview, you'll hear what the interview, the play is about. It's going to be in the Cary Theater, the Cary Theater off Chatham Street. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was very, very interesting to hear what it was about and everything. Other than that, today we have nutrition dietitian.
Yes.
Kristen is going joining us today. She's going to be giving us little tips. It's the new year and everything. I know a lot of people that is one their goal is to be healthy. So we got somebody that's going to give you a couple of tips and everything, and we might talk about a couple other things that's going on in the world. And you already know how it is. But First thing that I'm going to do is go into a couple of tracks. Then we'll come back, interview her, get to let her give a little summary of who she is, and then we're going to dive into the interview. So first track that I'm about to play is Good Feeling. This is Good Feeling by India. Hold on.
Hey, this is
No Lie Day with Good Feeling. This is No Lie Day with Good Feeling, alright?
Yeah, it's such a good feeling. Wanna lose all control. Oh, it's such a good feeling, yeah. Feel it down in my soul. And I don't wanna ever let it go. I want to feel this way until I'm old. I was made to fly and touch the sky, so let me soar. It's time for us both to lose control. I get such a good feeling. Your kiss to me is healing. My one wish on the stars to always be where you are. 'Cause you give me that feeling. Got so much I could share. Share it all with the world. Stronger than any mountain, but as gentle as our love. And I don't wanna ever let it go. I want to feel this way until I'm old. I was made to fly and touch the sky, so let me soar. It's time for us both to lose control. I get such a good feeling. Your kiss to me is healing. My one wish on the stars, I'll always be where you are. 'Cause you give me that feeling. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go. Baby, I know that you know, and I know you won't ever let go. It's like I'm on an island with the finest, and we're dining, and it's all for me. And baby, you remind me, you're behind me, never hiding, won't all to say. I get such a good feeling. Your kiss to me is healing. My one wish on the stars, to always be where you are. 'Cause you give me that feeling. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go. I wanna never let go.
Been drinking like way too much. U.S. State doing way too much. Heard you working for them and not us. All them years that I gave you my love, but I promise I'm missing your touch. And it's some things we have to discuss. At 112 cool, then I'ma pull up. Call up Rio just to get up. He let me in, girl, I'm on the way up. Knock, knock, baby girl, open up. I'm too low right now. I need something that gon' take me higher, take me higher, I need you to take me higher, no, and I ain't coming back, no, I need you to take me higher, take me higher, I want you to take me higher, no, and I ain't never been fly, I ain't coming back down, no, please, no. Feel my toes right now. I don't know what's happening in the shores right now. I'm holding on to things I can't let go of right now. I'm about to blow up right now. I might explode like I know you need me. I spent the weekend all alone fighting demons. I got a couple bad wounds still bleeding, and you're the only one that saved me. I need it. Turning up, no way, can't turn it down. I look around, no way, no one around, and I ain't gotta get away, yeah. And all I need for you, girl, take me higher, eh. Girl, take me higher, eh. Now take me higher, no, no. And I ain't coming back down. Somebody gotta take me higher, and you can do it. You take me higher, and you can do it. You take me higher.
What up? I get you high, sweet smell of cologne. Fly, girl, I'm on some they never be on. Who you kidding? Never slipping, Cinderella, I'm grown. Still ducking 12, but I'm trying to sell it by noon. Tell out nobody killing my buzz. Drive slow, ride ghost like in memory of. Eyes closed, high notes, girl, my d is a drug. I just want the love, I feel like Mitch at the club. Say you got another, but you want me instead. You 100, it's a wonder why he ain't break bread. You gon' lay it on the line when you lay in this bed. It's either ball till you fall or talk the off the edge. My addiction is you, got me sipping for truth. Got me stiff as a victim, she popped the clip and it's cool. See, I live by the gun, I feel like Bishop and Juice. When life's black and white, I put mixed feelings to use. She take me high.
Girl, take me higher. Now take me higher. No, no. And I ain't coming back down. Somebody gotta take me higher. And you can do it. You take me higher. And you can do it. You take me higher. No, no, no. And I ain't never been fly. I ain't coming back down. No, please don't go. Please don't let me fall.
They fed me to the wolves, but I'ma lead the pack. I caught the hater, intercept, now watch me run it back. Saving music like, but what's the fun in that? It ain't no competition, they admitting they don't really rap. No, yeah, what's the fun in that? All they wanna do is hit the clubs up. Trap, Papa Molly, parents asking where their son is at. I don't stop to notice cause I'm aiming where the sun is at. I'm shooting higher than the next chick. Did they whole day's worth of work before my breakfast? Until my money gets long, my days get hectic. I ain't did enough, so I feel my dreams neglected. A workaholic, I just call it what I built for. They only made one me, they like go build more. And even then they wouldn't really feel raw. Venomous a beast, what the you think she killed for? Vision, vision, vision. Always having vision, having vision, having vision, having vision. I'm having dreams of making it. And if I could, I would wake up with my eyes closed. So I know that you'll be there, and you'll be there, and you'll be there, but don't wake me up. They either love you or hate you today, don't they? I'm just trying to make these moves until they want me like Chipotle. Visions living, getting realer, yeah, they feel her, do they hear her? I'm just cooking up these bars and I distribute through the dealers. Copyright infringement, how they copy what I'm giving. I'm just talking what I witnessed. You should talk less and go listen. Wanna know why am I distant? I'm just trying to go the distance, and not everyone can come, so I'm just asking for forgiveness. And it sure don't come easy though. You know the saying, how it's easy come, easy go. My life a movie, can't wait for the sequel though. The way I'm leading, like I'm about to let my people go. A legend heading for the top of all the billboards. They only made one me, they like go build more. And even then they wouldn't even feel raw. I always be a beast, what the you think I kill for? Yeah. Vision. Always having vision. So all we got is vision. Yeah, I'm having dreams of making it. And if I could, I would wake up with my eyes closed. So I know that we'll be there, and you'll be there. Yeah, and you'll be there. But don't wake me up. Yeah, don't wake me up. No, don't wake me up. Federal, venomous, you know.
Hey, come on.
All right, we're back. First track that I played was No Lie Day with Good Feelings. Second track that I played was Young Marco with Georgia State. And third track that I played was Venomous with Visions. Alright. So as I said, today we have dietitian Kristin, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself. And did I say your name wrong?
Yeah.
The way that you looked at me, the way that you looked at me.
You said that the first time. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I do apologize about that. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, give a little summary of her before we jump into the interview. Oh, well, one moment. For the people that's actually listening to us on Spreaker and wants to actually watch, you can either go to my YouTube and see it there, or you can actually go to quarantineenterprise.com, click on the Quarantine Radio tab. I know this is something new because we stopped doing the Facebook Live. We're trying to get move everybody, get used to going to quarantineenterprise.com. So those are two ways that you can actually see it live. From what I've been told, you actually have to, when you go on my website, you actually have to press play on the YouTube box to actually start seeing the live broadcast. All right, so I just wanted to put that out there because I had a couple people ask me about that. So you can either listen to the audio or you can actually watch the visual. Everything is all going to be on quarantineenterprise.com now. All right, I'll let you give your introduction.
So my name is Kristin Ellison. I am a student nutritionist and I attend North Carolina State University. I have a business called Smarter Than Medicine, and I created it. Yes, that's the infographic. But I created Smarter Than Medicine last year, but as far as the whole backstory of how it got started, it started years ago. Family, friends are always the ones that come to ask me, like, should I eat this? Can I have this? Can I do this? How should I, how can I turn this into this? You can fill in this and that with so many different blanks or so many different things, like honey. Should I use sugar instead of honey, or honey instead of sugar? Just want to know what they can do to kind of better their life, better their eating habits. So I went to Campbell University to do my undergraduate degree in pharmaceutical science. So I do work a 9-to-5. I do work at a company called Humasite, and I'm pretty much in my field that I studied in. I kind of felt like for a while it's a job, it's a means to an end, but I know I needed something to kind of get me over that hump and something to introduce to family and friends around me, be that person in my circle that kind of says, hey, you can do more than just work a 9-to-5. So I created Smarter Than Medicine, and it encompasses the mind, body, and the spirit. So a lot of things that you eat can affect all three of those things. We were just sitting here talking about the Daniel fast, and a lot of times the processed food we can eat, it can change you hormonally, it can change how you behave, it can change how you think. A lot of people don't know that because you eat it and nothing happens. You're not supposed to recognize the changes that go on when you eat processed food. But it can. And it also goes into the whole part of a lot of people eat out of stress, out of depression, and that's where it encompasses the spirit, because you have to make sure, you're monitoring what you allow in and out. We do kind of break down things like the scientific jargon that goes on online. If you go to Google and you search for how to eat, what to eat, what's healthy to eat, you get a lot of controversial articles saying don't eat this but eat this, and don't eat that but eat this, and it can be confusing for someone who's really trying to be serious about dieting, and it can kind of make you stray away. So we do the hard work, and we say, we'll take that first step with you. We'll take that backward step with you. We're going to do it together to make sure we can plan something that's custom for you. As far as eating, as far as monitoring what goes in and out of your spirit, what goes in and out of your body and your mind. So that's pretty much it.
Fantastic.
Okay. That's kind of good what you actually has said as far as because a lot of people don't think about that as far as your spirit and your mental state when it comes to eating and everything. I don't want to go as far as because I know the
go as far as
the stigmatism or the stereotype with vegetarians always downplaying, because I don't downplay eating meat and stuff like that, but there's a lot of, because like my girlfriend, she eats meat and I don't mind cooking meat and stuff like that, but a lot of people talk about how when the animal is killed and stuff like that, that goes into the actual food and stuff like that. Like in you, when you eat it, it becomes in you and stuff like that. Right. So I don't know if that's what something that you're going to go into and everything. But one thing that, because from what you were talking about, what pinpoints you to the go-to person in your family that everybody just decided, because like this was before you went to school and everything, why did everybody think that you were the one to go to about food?
I've always been in my family, I was the one that was kind of like crowned to say, you're going to go to medical school. So, and I've always been interested in science. I've always been interested in food. I mean, I think from maybe when I was about 5 or 6, my parents caught me in the fridge, and the fridge is wide open, and they're like, at the time I'm the only child, and I have a mouthful of grapes.
Oh, goodness.
Grapes and watermelon are my thing. So from that point forward, it's just kind of like, when people want to know, like, you always carry some grapes, or you're always having something to snack on. It's never cookies, and it's never peanut butter, like, the processed peanut butter crackers. It's always something fresh or some type of fruit. So when my parents got older, my grandmother got older, health situations started coming up. I was already in school for science. That was my track. Chemistry, physics, biology, those are the things that I like to learn about. So being able to put the two together, family and science, and being that person that really understood science and how to explain it to people, I think that was the biggest part. I knew how to explain it to people who were sitting beside me in my science class. I know how to break it down to where they're just like, oh, I get it,
makes sense.
And give an analogy that they can relate to. So I think that was probably the bigger part, which makes me that go-to person for my family and friends.
Gotcha.
All right, so as far as one of the things that I also heard you talk about is you customize a diet for people. Like, what type of questions you ask them, or because like there was I believe it was either Fat Joe or Rick Ross, one of the two. They were talking about how they actually started losing weight. They went through different diets, and they talked about the importance of customizing your diet, because like not every diet is going to work for everybody. Right. And the reason why they started losing, when they went through their many diets, the one that actually worked for them, the reason why that one actually worked for them, it was because of their body and their chemical base and stuff like that. So what do you actually do to get to know the person, to know exactly what diet actually works for them?
So I wouldn't say I go based off of a diet. I go based off of what you're already taking medication, what your stress level is on an average, because stress has a lot to do with how you lose weight.
Absolutely.
Genetics has a lot to do with how you lose weight. So I'd ask questions about medical history. Have you done your annual, as far as going to see your doctor on a yearly basis? Do you have insurance? Because there might be some things that your doctor may need to know about, that they need to prescribe, or that need a doctor's note with it. I would say I need to know those things to customize it, because it's important. Physiologically, we're composed differently. Our genes are different. Our nucleic acids are composed differently in our genes. You may have health conditions that I don't have, that I have never had and may never will. Like diabetes is very big in the South due to, type 1 diabetes is the one that you're born with. Type 2 is the type that you kind of accrue as you eat and as you get older. So I need to know those type of things, because that may be something that type 1 I don't have that.
Right.
But if you do, I need to know what you take. I need to know how you eat. I need to know what your doctor prescribed. I need to know your stress levels, so I can customize and say, oh yeah, no, you probably can't have, probably can't have a whole lot of honey.
Right.
It's a sweetener, and it's used as a substitute for sugar, but that's gonna mess with your insulin levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's knowing those type of things to make sure, we have a good relationship, that you're not going backwards. Because if you go backwards, I go backwards with you. If you go forward, I go forward with you. That's kind of how the relationship works for Smarter Than Medicine.
Absolutely.
So another question I had for you, because I also heard this too, and I didn't hear you mention it. Does anything have to do with a person's blood type? Because I also heard people talk about blood type diet and everything.
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard a little about it because of people who are anemic and people who do have I can't remember the name of the health condition right now, but I know we got TLC. T-Wise has lupus. So blood does have
I thought she had sickle cell.
Sickle cell, yeah. I think Tony Braxton has lupus.
Yeah,
okay.
But conditions like that, blood conditions like that, do kind of impact how we would have to go about. I would probably, on a personal level, probably have to have your primary doctor more involved with what we kind of come up with. Because that's important. That's a life or death type situation. Absolutely.
Now, I did do Eat Right for Your Blood Type years and years ago. Mm-hmm. And I will say, what they have in the book, I mean, it is a book, of course, but what they have in there is basically you're going through your blood type, and they're saying, based on your blood type, the history of your blood type, these people were this type.
Right.
So you were either somebody who was, I think they called them gatherers, or you were somebody who, you might have been like a soldier or a gatherer or somebody that was really active, and then other people might not be as active, so you don't need this type of food. This person, you might need that type of food. So it was really going not based on you, but the history of your blood type.
So it's more general. It's a general take.
Very general. Yeah, it's a book. I mean,
I understand.
It's an interesting book. And that was one of the first books that I read, but I know we talked about me being pescatarian. Mm-hmm. I think another book that really made me think, and I don't know if you ever heard of it, is The China Study.
No, I never heard of that one.
Okay, so The China Study is a book that I found on Google. I don't even remember how I found it. Mm-hmm. But basically, in The China Study, they talked about how there's a misconception that people need to use meat for protein.
Yes, there's
a big misconception, and they're saying that it started in the 70s and 80s with bodybuilders and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I think I got up to maybe chapter 2 or 3, and they started doing tests on lab rats. Mm-hmm. And basically they injected a disease into all the rats. They basically then went from there to give half of the rats a meat-based diet, the other half a plant-based diet. And the plant-based diet rats got better.
Right.
The meat-based diets either died or got sicker. So then at one point they actually switched, and those that were on the meat-based diet, when they switched over, they got better, mm-hmm. and these, of course, got sick.
Right.
So at that particular time, I started to think to myself, like, okay, I kind of need to look into this a little further myself. And then, of course, years later, here comes the Daniel fast.
Right.
And here I am again, pretty healthy. I still eat my sweets and everything, but my numbers are good. But getting past that, I wanted to ask you, did you watch What the Health?
Yes, I did.
Okay, now what was your initial thoughts on What the Health?
There was a lot of stuff I did not know, as far as they did a scene where it was based in North Carolina, mm-hmm. and I think it was the hog farm.
Yes,
and
they were talking about the smell and everything.
The smell, and I definitely didn't know that. I'm not much of a pork eater, but that was something I didn't know. As far as plants, I think there was a scene where one lady, like you explained, she started to get better mm-hmm. the more she kind of dived into the plant-based diet. I think the misconception with animal protein is that it is readily available. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's on the earth. You can kill it with no morality, and a lot of people don't see the difference between a human life and an animal life.
They don't.
So plant life it is kind of taken for granted. If you see how fast we're building up things around here and cutting down trees, it's taken for granted because most people don't see that instant gratification of, oh, there is protein in plants and it does work, until you get to a situation, until it hits you in the face, and you're in a difficult health situation, and now plants are all you need.
Right.
So I did watch it, and it did kind of open my eyes to a lot. I wouldn't say that I stopped eating meat, but I do make sure that, you know, I do stick to chicken mostly. Right. I would say about 95% I stick to chicken, and I make sure that it's, you know, the best that you can as far as when you go to the store, because you don't really know.
You really don't.
You don't know.
And I think the thing that people don't realize is that when you look at a cow, I mean, cows spend most of their days eating grass. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you know, they're getting their protein from grass. So, really, you're just kind of getting the middleman.
Yeah, pretty
you
much.
know what I mean? You could just eat the grass.
Right.
I mean, not literally. I don't want people going out there eating grass.
But cows, it's good because cows have so many different, they have different stomachs. So, they have different ways to ferment.
Right.
And that bacteria that you get, it can be good or bad.
Right.
There's no way to differentiate. But it can be good for your gut as far as your large and small intestine, and it could be bad. So that's where the diseases come from.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I got two questions because what he just said generated another question in my head. But the first question I had, I think it was something that he mentioned, or I might have misheard it. Kristen.
You think?
No.
The singer?
Yeah. No, I might be saying it. Yeah, Kristin Michelle.
Okay.
Kristin Michelle, she was a vegetarian for a while, and she said that it made her sick to the point that she had to go back to a meat-based diet. What do you think the reason why? Because like even though like we continue to say that being vegetarian is healthy, it seemed like that was the reverse for her. Like it made her sick, like, and she couldn't find out why. And then she went to her doctor and found out that she did need that meat.
It depends, though.
I think it depends on your genetic makeup. I think for her it could have been more genetic, and then it depends on how much of it are you really eating. You know, are you eating enough of it to where it makes an impact? Was she eating enough of that plant-based diet to really make an impact on her body? Did she have something else going on?
Right.
Because when you do eat a plant-based diet, I mean, there are different types of like carbohydrates. Bread has different types of wheat. That's where gluten comes from, or certain types of gluten comes from. And then you hear about the whole gluten intolerance. Was it something that triggered a bacteria in her large intestine? Was it something that she maybe got cooked a certain way? I mean, there's a lot of questions that could go into that. Of course, only Kristin Michelle knows.
Right.
But it could have been that she might have needed a different quality of protein because there are different types. And it could have been that animal was something that maybe aligned more with her body, and her body said, you know what? We're going to go with the animal quality instead of this plant-based diet. It really could be her genetic makeup.
Yeah, I it was a while ago that I actually saw that interview and everything. She might have mentioned everything, and I just can't remember. But yeah, it always just kind of puzzled me. I'm like,
that don't even make sense.
like that was the first time I ever heard that, because there's
That's rare. That's rare to hear. But I mean, certain things like that happen.
I mean, unless she was, depending on how long she was a vegetarian.
I know she was a vegetarian for years.
Yeah, I mean, because I was thinking, unless that that meat was just coming out of her body at that particular time, maybe it was just fully detoxed.
Fully detoxed. And I want to say it's probably what she ate. I know a lot of people, or I know a few people who are vegetarians and they don't eat. They stick to a certain French fries and macaroni and cheese. No. Yes, you can be a vegetarian. Those are vegetarian meals, French fries and macaroni and cheese, but that's not, plant-based. You have to eat the greens. You have to eat spinach and the romaine lettuce and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good. Fries and macaroni and cheese, that's no good.
That's the quick way to say it, vegetarian.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not it.
And the second question I had, I just want to get your thoughts on this. Like a lot of people talk about the controversy with the cow milk and everything. Why do you think that it's like when people think of drinking regular human milk, it in their mind it's disgusting? but they're fine with cow milk and stuff like that.
Because
yeah, that does basically, because like I thought, because I forgot what show I was actually watching, and the guy's idea was to start selling natural human milk.
I think I
and it was supposed to be as a joke, but it made me start thinking like, why is this disgusting to people, but they're okay with. And especially like if you actually watch what they do with the cow milk,
right?
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And I think like we're the only. Well, no, because like sometimes people will feed their pets, but most of the times like pets will stick with their mother's milk and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's due to the fact that we sexualize the female body. That's pretty much the stigma across the board. The female body is a sexual object. Whether you agree to it or not, if you look at a woman and she reveals herself, you're going to think beauty. You're going to think not necessarily sex, but you're going to think beauty. You're going to think untouchable. You're going to think purity. You're going to think a lot of things because we produce a lot. And we go through a lot in our bodies. We are able to carry for 9 months. We're able to feed with our own bodies what we have carried. So it's sexualized, it's beautified, and something like that is so cherished and kind of put on a pedestal. And to a sense, private, we'll look at it as, oh no, that's nasty. You can't do that. Nasty. Breastfeeding in public is that's nasty. But it's a part of life. It's, I mean, if you want to go that far, then being pregnant is nasty. It's a part of life. So, and a cow, I mean, we have been taught in education, in family, that cows are animals. Unless you have some type of attachment, like say you were raised on a farm or something like that, cows are animals and they do this and they do this and that's what they do. They make milk and they make meat.
That's it.
They make our milk and they make what we put on the table, and that's how it is. Women are looked at as beautified. I mean, if you look in the magazines, the standard of beauty is, well, now it's curvy. At one point, it was super skinny. Right. You know, now it's like curvy and having curves and being very voluptuous. So now it's sexualized. It's beautified. It's put on a pedestal. You're queen now. So anything that the queen does is now private, and breastfeeding needs to be private. And feeding anything that comes from her body is sacred and private, which is, in a sense, a good thing. But I think that's where we kind of take it too far that, okay, breast milk has a lot of great nutrients. Right. Has a lot of fats that the baby will need. And as you grow up, you lose the protein, and this is a controversial statement as well, you lose the protein to digest milk. So that's why cow's milk is not necessarily the best thing to eat as you grow up. That's why people have some lactose issues, like lactose intolerance.
Well, they say that most of us, or most of us, or a good chunk of us, are lactose intolerant. Right? We're not supposed to eat it. But when you think about milk, like cow's milk, I mean, the overall purpose of it is to get its young bigger. Right.
Just like how for us, it's supposed to get women's breast milk is supposed to get us bigger.
Our child. So it would just make sense for us to either, continue.
Yeah,
drinking.
That's why.
That's the theory.
That's why. Like when I actually saw it, like I said on the show, it was supposed to be a joke, but it made me start thinking like, why is it that people look at this as nasty?
And then when you think about it, to a certain point, drinking breast milk stops at maybe 6 months to 1 year old. Right. Cow's milk should stop, but we've gotten so stigmatized to cereal and milk, to porridge or cream of wheat or grits and milk. Everything, Southern hospitality puts milk milk and cheese with everything.
And that's so funny that you mentioned that. Now this is, and I work for Blue Cross and Blue Shield, so I'm in insurance. I was very happy to hear that you actually checked to see if people have insurance. You have no idea. And not to go too deep into the story, but it's so funny because somebody called me, and I don't want to go too story because I don't want to give too much information, but HIPAA, I know, I get it. Right. But he called and he said his child, I won't even say what sex the child is, his child can't have regular formula. Yes. He has to have this special expensive formula. And in my mind, I was just like what? Like you what? So in that situation, theoretically, he probably could just continue to be breastfed.
Well, it
potentially.
Depends. Potentially. It depends on if the mother can breastfeed. Because that's an issue now. It's a big issue where a lot of women aren't able to bear children, and if they are, they're not able to breastfeed. So it could be that this expensive type of milk that he needs.
It's expensive.
The child may be lacking a lot of things that he didn't get in the womb. And that your regular Food Lion infant milk cannot give him.
I'm telling you, it's not covered.
It's not. I have heard of situations. It's very rare, but I have heard of situations like that because the first 6 months are the most crucial for a child. If in the womb you're not getting certain proteins and enzymes and things of that nature, and you come out and you're still not getting that from the mother because she can't produce for whatever reasons, and then the regular infant milk doesn't provide those type of enzymes and proteins that you need, and you need something a little bit more of an upgrade. That's tough. It puts you in a tough situation.
Yes.
It's a rare situation, and I did kind of one of my classes in grad school. They have what's called, certain states it's not big yet, but certain states have what's called breastfeeding banks, where women who have lost children actually continue to keep pumping breast milk, and they store it.
That makes a lot of sense.
And for the most part, you can get it for free. Insurance, they do take insurance, things of that nature. But women are passed through a test, a test to make sure there's nothing as far as diseases or anything like that.
Any other bank,
right? But it's not commercialized because they don't want you to. They don't want you to know about that type of stuff.
Right.
Because infant milk pays, insurance covers it. They want you to use that. It has everything you need, so that's what you need to use.
Everything you need. And it's probably sponsored by some disease, just like everything else.
It's all processed. That's why it's important, as far as milk, we're talking about milk, it's important to really breastfeed. Because I am an advocate for that.
Do you drink regular milk, or are you almond?
I am an almond milk girl.
I think most of us are at this point.
I did try, they have a lactose milk.
Okay.
It's called Lactaid. It doesn't work for me. It's not. I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't work for me. It does not work.
I don't know.
But almond milk, I do. I've tried coconut milk. I've tried cashew milk.
Cashew.
Yes.
How was that?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, I saw it in the store and I was just
I usually do the cashew or almond milk. I usually put them in my smoothies and stuff like that, or my cereal and stuff like that. Like, is there a difference in the milk, or is there any side effects to the almond coconut? Because I've heard, and my mom gets on me about it because I think it's just the soy one that's bad for men. And I keep telling her that, but she just sees silk. And even though I'm getting the almond and coconut, she said you shouldn't drink that silk. I said it's not the soy, Mom. So I'm just trying to make sure, because I know she'll listen back to this, and I just want her to hear.
So you have to look at what silk does have in it. It could contain traces of soy. I'm not sure. That's not a brand that I'm necessarily familiar with. But as far as the nut milks, if you have a nut allergy, then you might be out of luck. But I haven't heard any side effects as far as if you don't have any. And I can speak for myself that I haven't had any as far as, what you say, what?
Well, I think he was talking about specifically soy milk.
Yeah. So I have heard controversial. I've read articles that said soy is linked to cancer or prostate cancer as far as for men. But I've also heard that it's good as far as being an alternative for protein. So it puts the protein back into the milk.
So everything that probably we've heard is that it increases estrogen in men. That's probably what, I assume that's what,
So that's probably where the cancer linkage comes from for men.
Okay.
As far as put something in your body that's foreign. But I haven't heard too much about it. I would probably look at the brain and see.
I'm not doing it. I've already given up on it. So I think this right here makes sense to me. Now I'm gonna tell you, I have this book at my house, 2 books actually. One, I think it says Every Cure for Your Body or something like that. But the other one is specifically foods you can eat to cure your body. I bought this book. I think my mother-in-law might have been in the hospital. I looked in the gift shop and I was like, oh, I'm about to buy this book. And every single time I get sick, I go to this book to see what I can eat.
I need that book.
I'm telling you, I can't find it. I was trying to find it, but I go to this book, and I I mean, it's everything. It's like migraines, common cold. It's a lot of stuff in here. So I guess for me, like the whole concept of your business makes complete sense, because I'd rather eat food any day of the week than go and buy medicine, right, unless I really, really, really have to. But I think it's foods you can eat to cure like any disease or something like that. And it wasn't too expensive, but I guess if somebody did come to you and they weren't feeling well, like, do you have that particular knowledge to say, hey, you should eat this?
Yes, I do. I always take the natural, or try to take the natural path before I say, all right, pop a Tylenol.
Yes.
Because a lot of stuff is due to stress. A lot of our ailments are due to stress. I mean, millennial generation, or if you want to call it that, we go through a lot of necessary and unnecessary stress. We tend to get headaches and migraines a lot easier. So I do take the natural method. I mean, there are certain type of headaches that are caused by certain parts of your brain, certain pressures in your brain. So back here, it's tension, it's the neck, you've been kind of shrugged up, your chin has been, or your jaw has been tense, and your tongue is on the roof of your mouth. So it's natural when you're in a tense state to just kind of do like that. So if you kind of relax, maybe someone gives you a massage, put a warm compress here to kind of relax the muscles and let them become, because they're constricted at this point, and you let them open up, let the blood flow through. Because if you think about it, if those blood vessels are constricted, it means they're really narrow. Right. All this volume of blood is trying to rush through at one time. That's going to cause inflammation, because your body's just like, wait a minute, it's a lot of blood and not enough space.
Right.
So if you put something warm on there, it is psychological.
Right.
You will untense, you will relax, and your blood vessels will open up again. So for headaches, that's a natural approach I take. Now, it depends. You let something like that go on too long, and your body's in that state for so long, right, it's just like it won't respond.
Absolutely.
So you do have to, might have to aid it with Tylenol, which is not necessarily bad if you don't take it all the time. It's supposed to be used as an anti-inflammatory.
Gotcha.
So nausea is one thing I know for singers. Get very anxious. You have that pre-jitter anxieties and things of that nature. Chamomile tea, rosemary, drinking that, one, it's comfort, it's warm, and two, the herbal effects for your stomach. It kind of changes the pH in your stomach, because upset stomach comes from an acidic pH in your stomach. It means your stomach is a little bit more, has more acid, or it's putting in more acid than it normally does, because it's trying to get you to, kind of wake up, and it's trying to get you to be ready to act.
Okay.
So chamomile tea, the warmth, the herbs, kind of bring it back to more of a neutral state, around pH 7. So, trying to think.
I wish I had the book.
I wish you did too. I definitely use that book.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know I got it from the hospital that day, and I tried to find it, but I don't know what's going on with this phone. But I'm pretty sure if you look it up, there's a whole bunch of them, but this one here,
the book that cures everything.
Yeah, it's like foods. I'm gonna try it again, but
I know one more thing was a hot toddy. It cures everything. It cures everything. Lemon, some type of whiskey or bourbon for a cold or sinus infection.
So, one thing that I wanted to ask, as far as, cause like you kind of touch on something, as far as like, is there like a special diet person can go on for like chronic pains or migraines that would help them ease that?
I mean, it depends. If I had to be general, I'd probably say a plant-based diet, but it depends, because there are a few people I know that get consistent migraines, and it's due to their diet, but it's not due to like anything that goes on with nerves in the brain or in the neck. It's due to digestive issues, because your nervous system and your digestive is connected. So when you get anxious here, it sends responses to your body to kind of be anxious up here. So it's all connected. So if you're doing something as far as holding your neck down, it can affect you and cause you to have a stomach ache. If you're doing something here as far as you're nervous, if you have nerves, it can cause you to get a headache. So it's all connected. It just depends on where it's coming from. You have to find where it's coming from, the initial state of what's happening.
So it could be just basically stress with the person.
A lot of stuff is basically stress. A lot of diseases and health conditions are stress related. So that's why I say that's why Smarter Than Medicine encompasses the body and the spirit. If you're constantly doing things with your spirit, you're not feeding it. You're not feeding it encouragement, or a lot of people go to the religious side of scriptures and going to church. A lot of people watch motivational videos and it really gets them amped up, listen to quotes or they listen to soothing music. If you're not feeding your spirit, that's the core of who you are. This is just your flesh. Your flesh is going to waste away, but your spirit is what's going to live on and kind of produce. If you think about it, people will remember who you are more than what you look like. That's if you've impacted them enough. So if your spirit is what's living on after you pass away, after your flesh passes away, that's what you need to be feeding. And that's what's going to keep your mind and your body going too. That's what's going to cause you to be balanced as far as how you eat. It's going to cause you to be more intentional about your decision making on what you eat. And it's what's going to cause you to have the self-discipline to say, like he said, it's candy over here.
Yes.
He said no. He ate 2 bites of a Krispy Kreme donut, which is really hard for a lot of people. But that's self-discipline. And if
do it away.
He's on the fast, so he's feeding his spirit, and that's where the core of all his decisions come from.
You should have saw me. I mean, it was actually
I've done it. I ate 2 bites and just said nope.
It was actually a Harris Teeter donut. Them Harris Teeter donuts are fat. them things. It was. I love sprinkles.
They're the flour kind, not the yeast kind.
No. It was vanilla frosted with sprinkles. I love sprinkles first and foremost. Yes, and when I pulled it out, I had sprayed all the icing from the bottom and everything. I had all the ice. I was really scraping this thing, and I put it in this bag, and I can't eat the rest of this bag. And I put it in that bag. I just threw it in the garbage. Just threw it away. But I can't find this book here. If we all connect on social media and everything, I can send you a picture of it, so you'll have it. But something else came up on my screen here as I'm actually scrolling through here. Here's the actual picture of the China Study book, just so you'll have it here. It's yeah. So, what do you think about the teachings of Dr. Sebi? Because I know that comes up a lot with your patients here.
Let me see.
People are listening. I know because I know they're out there.
Because it's a controversy. It is controversial,
yes.
Especially how he died or murdered.
Right.
Depending on how you look at it.
They got him. You know what I'm saying? They got him.
It's how you look at it. His teachings are a lot of the teachings that the United States does not want to happen, because it would put Big Pharma out of business.
Absolutely.
And it would put doctors out of a job. It would put medical schools out of students. It's a trickling effect. Everything in life is a trickling effect.
Right.
So if someone like him say, marijuana, the oil or the leaves or however, is the cure for cancer.
Right.
It's going to put doctors who represent Big Pharma out of a job.
Out of business, yeah.
So his teachings, I didn't listen to all of them. It was more on word of mouth, people talking about it, because a lot of his stuff is gone now.
Right.
So once you actually when I found out about him was when he died or when he got murdered.
Yes.
So
they got him. They just put up there. They got him.
So when I went to go look for that type of stuff years back, it was gone. Yeah. So you mostly had to see people reviewing it or talking about it, and based on just a summary of what I've learned or heard, he had a lot of different herbal treatments, marijuana being one of them, that cured cancer. People would go see him and they're cured, and it was outside of the United States. So it makes you kind of think about, well, what else is outside of these walls,
right,
or borders that they don't want us to know about?
Right.
It's a money-making business. It's not really there to actually heal you. It's to kind of keep it.
My parents are actually Jamaican and everything, and one of the things that they talk about is the plants that they grow and the food that they grow. Like one of the main one is soursop. You know about soursop?
I do.
Yeah, it says soursop can help prevent prostate cancer and everything.
Let me ask really quickly before you: is that the soursop like the bitters? Or do they? So I have a drink at home. I got a lot of stuff at home, of course. It's called Sour Sop Bitters.
Wow.
And that is good. So I can pull that up on my phone, but basically it's 21 ingredients in this thing. I know sour sop is in it, and basically it's supposed to help with hypertension, diabetes, if your stomach is upset, prostate cancer, if you're having, if you're trying to lose weight, constipation. It's like a whole, it's like a whole list of things on here that it's good for. And I mean, I usually get it from the African store. It's like $20 a bottle. It's disgusting. Probably one of the worst things you'll ever eat or drink in your entire life. But I mean, it helps tremendously with that pH balance that you're talking about, because I mean, I'm just about to finish this bottle now, but I'll tell you, it's really, really good. Like for what it does. And I mean, that could be another reason why my numbers are good, because you just doing, it's just little small things that you're doing to basically make your life and things move faster. And I'll pull it up while, I don't know if you have another question with that sound.
Let me go into a music break right quick, because there's a couple other stuff that I wanted to ask her about, just some herbs that I've run across and stuff like that, and see if you know about the effects and stuff like that. But let me go into a music break right quick, and then we're gonna come back, chop it up some more and everything, and try to get a little bit more about your business and stuff like that. First track that I'm about to play is Brittany Camille with "Love Won't Leave Me Alone." This is Brittany Camille with "Love Won't Leave Me Alone." All right.
Since I've been in this position, when you walked into my life, you changed my heart's disposition. Used to say, what's love got to do with it? Was falling apart, but you became the glue to my heart. Now I'm feeling like this is it, and I don't even have to think about it. As we grow closer, I see a future. If we're gonna be forever, I better get myself together. So I'm putting away my running shoes. The bus stops with you, can't lie, 'cause you make me wanna try to give my all, because love won't leave me alone. I tried to hide, I tried to run, you call me baby, now I'm done searching, you got me, 'cause your love won't leave me. So sexy, so persistent. Ooh, you never gave up and let me keep you from showing me all that you are. There's something in your touch. Your kiss and hug, lethal baby, drives me crazy. I can see myself having you, baby. I'm just saying it's serious. All I ever think about is us. Every other night I get good love. Never want to end. You're my new beginning. While I'm smiling, and it's so exciting, 'cause love won't leave me alone. I try to hide. Nowadays we're fussing too damn much, making it so stressful, ready to give up on love. How would you feel? Yeah. But never mind, I dropped 10K on the ring. Still there wasn't enough, it's such an ungrateful thing. How could you deal? Yeah. Even the nights I would get on my knees just to pray to find a way out of wondering, how could this be? Still I say, time and time again, up and down, back and forth. Now we're back from lovers to friends. I never ever keep a secret from you. No friends that come between us, girl, I'll adore you. Time and time again, up and down, back and forth. Now we're back from lovers to friends. I never ever keep a secret from you. No friends that come between us, girl, I'll adore you. You stay saying what the haters say. Used to love and war, now we hate all these things you stay playing. After we're done, yeah. But never mind, I dropped 10K on the ring. Still there wasn't enough, it's such an ungrateful thing. How could you deal? Yeah. Even the nights I would get on my knees just to pray to find a way out of wondering, how could this be? Still I say, time and time again, up and down, back and forth. Now we're back from lovers to friends. I never ever keep a secret from you. No friends that come between us, girl, I'll adore you. Time and time again, up and down, back and forth. Now we're back from lovers to friends. I never ever keep a secret from you. No friends that come between us, girl, I'll adore you.
Like this was me.
Alright, we're back. First track was Brittany Camille with Love Won't Leave Me Alone. Second track was Sean Lamont with Time Again. Alright, so I wanted to go over, like I was saying, because you said you didn't know much about the Sour Stopper or anything, and Troy actually gave a couple of details, but yeah, there's a couple other. I probably have to ask my mom about that basically things that's just growing in, like he was saying, like you were basically saying, they don't want to let you know that these can help and aid diseases and stuff like that, for whatever reason and stuff like that. One of the herbs that I sometimes put in my smoothies and everything, and I just want to see exactly what's your thoughts. Do you know much about maca roots and everything?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
As far as being in a smoothie, it does preserve because when you cook things, you lose nutrients. As far as putting in something that's cold, it kind of preserves, and you do get more of the nutrients that come from it and more of the effects that come from it. As far as I know, it does a lot with blood circulation and lymph nodes. It kind of prevents swelling, where people there's some people that I met that have what's called lymphedema, and it's swelling in the arms and the feet.
Right.
It does help as far as blood circulation and water balancing in the blood and in the body.
Maca root is another one that's really nasty.
They're all nasty.
Yeah.
They're all pretty nasty. That's why it's more of you have to kind of keep taking it daily in smaller doses.
Yes, because it's disgusting. I mean, I don't even, you say you got smoothies going, but it's not good.
So have you, felt any? What are the side effects for you? Not negative or positive, but just something that you notice different.
That's a good question. Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, the one effect I probably can't actually say on the air and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah, I did notice the energy and stuff like that. But yeah, because I forgot who, because somebody had told me when I became a vegetarian, they were telling me that was probably good to balance me out and get some of the nutrition that I'll be been left out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just, because like there's other stuff that because I was gonna on Amazon. There was this one brand that will actually ship it out every 3 months. And everything, and I was just reading the reviews on it and stuff like that. And I just want to get some, like, see if you knew more about it and stuff like that, so I can get another perspective on it and everything.
Yeah, I would say what I know about it it does help with blood circulation.
And from what it is the yellow and red. Is there a difference between the
Not that I know of. It would have. I would think I've had to experiment with it as far as, trying it. But not that I know of, or not anything that I've heard of as far as the difference. But blood circulation is big just because of the different energy pathways that your body has, or that it takes to make sure blood is constantly being put out. As you're walking, as you're exercising and things of that nature. So, or as you're doing anything that takes some type of circulation or strenuous activity. I mean, walking is a strenuous and stressful activity for our bodies. Even though we don't feel like it, you may walk from here to the door. Your body has used a lot of, not a lot, but your body has gone into a energy pathway, one of which is called glycolysis, to actually exert that energy for your muscles to contract to get to that door. But we don't think about it because it's just so, it's an everyday thing. But anything that can enhance or that can kind of give an extra boost, vitamin C is not an herb, but it is a vitamin that I do kind of push a lot because it does help blood circulation. It does help with balance of water and salt in your lymph nodes to keep swelling, at bay. So something like what you put in your smoothies, you're probably not feeling 100% of the effects of it. I know you said you couldn't talk about it, but if you're feeling anything apart from your normal day-to-day without it, then those are the effects. Because like I said, physiologically we're all different, so he may experience something totally different than if he ever tried it.
I have it in the cabinet. I don't know. I'm gonna have that for because that's funny because. And this is something that we just started realizing in the last couple of years, but how important or how big turmeric is. Mm-hmm, yes. People don't really know, but I mean, turmeric has some of those same. Yeah.
It's big. It's big. It does have its drawbacks because you can't use a lot of it because it does a lot of staining. Right. So teeth, fingers, clothes.
Those countertops.
But it has anti-inflammatory. You can put it. It doesn't taste good. But you can put it in almost anything smoothie-wise to kind of cover the taste. And it does have some pretty impacting effects on let's see. I would say anything that's inflamed as far as when you exercise, muscles they're going to always get inflamed. Because you're using and you're putting stress and you're on things that normally probably wouldn't have stress. So turmeric is a good thing to drink in a smoothie. It's good to cook with. It will turn everything yellow. Yes. But it is something that's good as far as if you want to naturally take that inflammation away from your muscles.
I think my wife was saying if you mix, I believe it was turmeric with black pepper, I think that makes it. Cayenne pepper, it makes a good detox drink. Right. I think it's one of those things, if you put them together, they become some kind of superpower of some sort. She mentioned it to me, but...
And as far as because a lot of people talk about this a lot, the water that they sell in the stores and anything. What do you know as far as the difference in the waters, and what should we look for as far as which brand that we should get, or do you feel like as long as you're drinking water?
Well, yes. In general, as long as you are drinking water, your body knows what to do with it and knows what to excrete and how to process it. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's an older video, but it's a video where people take the pH.
Oh yeah,
That's what my mom stressing. That's why she won't drink certain waters.
There are certain waters like the Aquafina, which is public. I don't know what type of processes as far as filtration that they go through, but if you think about your stomach, it's already acidic. It's already at about a pH, if I can remember, 2 or 3, which is fairly low. It's low enough to break down foods. So our teeth do the work, half the work, if that, and our body does the rest of it as far as making it digestible. So if you think about you're putting more of that pH in there, you're making your stomach more acidic, which it goes beyond the limits of what that muscle, because your stomach is a muscle, can hold and how it can process things. So you may be over processing foods that you eat and not getting the proteins and nutrients, because proteins can become disabled at a lower pH. So it's a lot of chemistry involved with it when you start doing stuff like water and taking the pH of it and how you ingest it and how your body dissolves or processes it. So personally, I drink the Deer Park, and I also drink the Boss. It's in it used to be in glass bottles, but now they put them in plastic. My dentist is someone who actually told me about, because when you get your teeth clean, the more water you drink, depending on what the pH is, it can kind of erode your teeth as well. And small, it can give you like little spots in your teeth. And it was something that he noticed, and he said, Boss water and I think Fiji water, alkaline water is really good. It does help keep that balance in your stomach. It's not Smart Water. I'm trying to remember what the brand is called, but alkaline water is good. It's more basic. It's not as acidic as the regular brand of water, so I do drink that too. Or I have drank that before. It's expensive. Right. So to get like a large quantity, like how you can get with Aquafina, it's kind of hard when you kind of balance in certain things. But if you really want to go hardcore, I would say Boss water. Fiji it does have the correct pH that we need. It is overpriced. And any type of alkaline waters.
That's funny because I'm hoping, and this is just a hope, because I get my water from those glacier machines that's supposed to go through those six steps. Yeah. And I'll be hoping that they go through all 6 every time I get it. Because it's cheap water. And it tastes fine to me. I've never had any issues, but you just hope that it goes through those real legit 6 steps. You know what I mean?
But never know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah. You wouldn't know about much of anything. Right. But you still have to drink water. Right. Water in any part, your body's going to take it, and to a degree, I would say about 95% your body knows what to do with it, what to excrete and say, no, we can't use this, we don't know what it is, if it's a toxin, if it's too acidic. Your body knows how to readjust. If you treat it well and you don't have too much as far as like health conditions that are self-imposed, then your body will know, she's drinking water, okay, that might be a little bit too acidic. Let's readjust some of the gastric enzymes and make sure that she doesn't have a stomach ache or don't get ulcers or things like that.
And that's so funny that we're talking about water right now, because when I was a kid, it was all about tap water. You just go fill it out the hose.
Tap water wasn't as fluoride filled as it is now, and we didn't have as much. Like the hurricane that just came, that totally bottled water is probably the best thing you're going to get right now, other than tap water, because animal feces and diseases that have kind of just sat, on top of that water that came in from the ocean. It's kind of, I would say, it's kind of made any type of tap water. No matter how much they try to put fluoride into it to kind of clean it of bacteria, I wouldn't necessarily trust it.
And what about coconut water?
Coconut water, I'm not a fan of it. My opinion is just because it has more of a saltier taste to me, but it does have a lot of minerals, vitamins, and ions that your body needs. Your cells that make up, your liver and things of that nature need that influx of ions that coconut water does have, and needs the influx of minerals and vitamins that are needed to kind of keep replicating cells and generating, moving out the old and bringing in the new cells. So coconut water, I definitely, even in your smoothies,
Yeah, that's what I usually use. If I'm not using coconut or almond milk, I use the coconut water in my smoothies and stuff like that.
It's a good alternative for Gatorade too. Because Gatorade is synthetically made, and the ions in it are put into it. Coconut water has it naturally. So and it has the natural sugars that come with it, whereas Gatorade has the sugars put into it. So I would say, like, if you guys are doing flag football,
that new sports drink, Body Armor. I think it's Body Armor.
Body Armor.
Yeah, I think that one actually it's coconut water. Yeah.
I think it has a lot more sugar. I think than
it does.
Gatorade. Yeah, I believe. Because I know my nutritionist at one point was saying, and I think this is something that a lot of people don't think of, is that when you drink a bottle of juice, it's like you don't think about it, but that's 2 servings of juice. So she's like, well, when you have that juice in the morning, she's like, make sure you're just having 8 ounces of juice rather than the whole bottle. Like,
the sports drinks are geared towards athletes,
right?
Because for a duration, football game goes on for a long period of time, depending on how it goes. So over time, your body needs to re-energize, and it needs it quick. It needs something that's, when you put it in, it can readily use it as energy. Gatorade has that amount of sugar in it because these athletes are going to burn it off just like that. People who are a little bit more sedentary, you may work out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You don't work out twice a day like how athletes would.
Right.
That's why I suggest coconut water or coconut milk or something that's a little bit less sugar, more of the ions and minerals that you need. Water is probably best. I know some people can't get past the taste or the fact that it has no taste, but it's probably better than, kind of knocking that workout out. You worked out for an hour, burned, and then you're going to put that sugar right back in and not use it, not burn it off.
Now that you have said that, what do you think about a person that just completely, because like I do not know that girl's name, but the City Girls, that's what was that? That's that group name, City Girls.
Which one?
The
what do they do?
Rappers. There's one, I think it's Young Miami or something like that. She got on there and says she doesn't drink water at all, and all she drinks is juice and stuff like that. She has said a whole lot of controversial stuff.
Diabetes,
and she was talking about how her skin is still clear and stuff like that. And,
how old is she?
I forgot. I think she's in her 20s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but like a lot of people were getting on her about it. Like she was also the one that said that she was 13 in the 3rd grade or something like that.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, she said a whole lot of controversial stuff and anything. But like I'm sitting there like, how can you go through life without drinking water at all?
You can't. I mean, so if you take it like this, a lot of our juices, even though they're concentrated with sugars and flavors, it has a base of water.
That's true.
When you take a shower, you have pores, so you get the water that way. The air, especially here in the South, is filled with water. That's where the humidity comes from. So it's a small percentage, but she is somewhere getting her, getting her water. I don't know. I would 100% doubt that she does not drink water at all. It would be literally impossible. Her skin, her digestive system would kind you be tainted.
Probably have kidney stones.
Kidney stones.
Yeah.
You know, if you're eating a lot of proteins and things start to calcify. Yeah, I don't necessarily.
She don't even know what's going on.
Your body has response systems. Your nervous system has response system that says, you know what, I need this. Whether it's food, whether it's sugar, whether it's water. You know, when you have those cravings, that's your body saying it needs something that it's not getting.
Mm-hmm.
When your mouth goes dry, you need water.
Right.
When your lips get chapped, you probably need water and some moisturizer. But it's certain things like that your body will let you know, and it won't stop. You need sleep. Mm-hmm. You will get sleep whether you're behind the wheel of a car or you're in the bed. You will get that sleep.
And how can a person actually listen to their body to know exactly what they need to eat and to actually fit their diet and stuff like that?
You are your worst critic, and you are your biggest encourager. So I think most people know if you really listen. I mean, other than your stomach growling loudly and louder and louder and louder when you're sitting in your 9th grade chemistry class, and there are certain things that your body will go through. I know for a few people, if you're ingesting too much dairy, cheese, and milk and things of that nature, it'll start to show on your face acne. That's a big thing that I've kind of been talking or heard about with people, is that your hormones will start to change. Your body says, you know what, it's a lot of cheese going on, it's a lot of dairy going on, it's a lot of inflammation due to those things, and we need to let her know that she needs to cut it out. So your hormones will change, and you'll get a flare-up. You'll get inflammation really bad. And once you cut that out, inflammation will go. The acne will go away. So there's certain things like that your body, and a lot of people don't. I mean, even dry patches, eczema. What's another thing that I've heard? Your skin is a big tell-all to what you're not getting, or what's going on in your body, or what's genetic in your genes, because sometimes it is just genes. And genes kind of constitute how your hormones levels will go up and down. So it's not always, food. That's why it's, to be mindful. That's why I said be intentional about your decision making, about what you choose to let in and out of your spirit and your body and your mind is really, really important, so that you can know what to look for when your body starts to raise red flags.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of information. I mean, I didn't want to go back, but I mean, I wanted to ask one more question about Dr. Sebi, because I know you said you didn't get a lot, but I mean, I know he had a theory on most of the diseases being associated with mucus. And I don't know if you got a chance to see that. Yeah. He basically was saying, like, when you have a cold, the first thing that happens, you get a stuffy nose, you might get a little phlegm. Right. It's all mucus. So he was saying the key to curing diseases was to get rid of the mucus from your body.
Well, from what I know, not from Dr. Sebi, but from what I know as far as the responses that your body takes when it goes, when your immune system is compromised, mucus is... Your body means well. Right. So it does a lot of things that says, I'm trying to help you, and you're like, hey, no, you're not. Think about allergy season. Right. When pollen hits histamine receptors in your body, you start sneezing, your eyes start watering. It is a natural response to help you, but it's not helping you. Right. It's making you feel worse, but it's trying. Your body is recognizing something foreign is trying to enter in, and it's protecting itself. Fever is the same way. Right. A fever is supposed to kill or ward off any type of bacteria that may be entering the body, so your temperature will go up. And it's supposed to help you, but it makes you feel worse. Yes. So the same with mucus. Whenever you have a sore throat, you scream a little bit too much, and the mucus production comes to soothe that inflammation and to make sure and it also comes to kind of bring a padding to make sure that whatever you do moving forward is not going to continue to make it worse. Gotcha. So, but your body again can do a little bit more bad than good, and it can overproduce because it thinks, oh well, it worked the first time and she's still doing the same thing, so we need to produce more. Double it. Yes, it doesn't. That feedback response, you're not feeding it to say, okay, I'm sorry for screaming at that football game and my throat does hurt, but you don't need to produce anymore.
I got this.
Until you actually sit down, maybe drink some tea or something like that, and kind of help the body say, okay, yeah, she's soothing it or he's soothing it, and we're going to stop production of mucus. So that, I mean, as far as what I know about how your body reacts and responds to things of that nature, that's kind of how I picture it. What he would say.
Yeah, because he was all about that. I mean, I don't know how he cured AIDS. I never got to that video, but
so they took that video off completely?
Oh, they probably did. I mean, there's a group that I'm on. That's why I definitely know about the alkaline water and everything. But yeah, they probably took a lot of that stuff down. And it's just funny. Well, not funny, but it's crazy when your mom tells you, like, they are going to kill you. Like, you keep telling about curing all these diseases, like they're going to kill you, and it's just like, bruh, like they killed you. Like, it's ridiculous.
He served. I mean, I would assume that's his passion. The fact that he kept going with it, and that was his purpose. His purpose was to bring some type of light to what people want you to turn a blind eye to.
Right. His stuff was expensive though. I will say. I mean, I look, his treatments were very expensive, but the amount of money that you're paying for chemo and a lot of these other things, and you have his supplements that's going to cure not your symptoms. And that would be my next question: is how do you feel about, I guess, doctors and I guess the pharmaceutical companies that look to cure symptoms but not the actual.
What is it? It's not preventive care. It's basically it treats the symptoms.
Right.
It keeps it at bay. Like when it comes back, just take this. That was another reason why this Smarter Than Medicine was created, because one of the stories that kind of pushed this to come along was my grandmother. She went through breast cancer. She went through throat cancer. She went through triple heart bypass.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, they took veins from her legs to put in her heart.
Wow.
She was pretty much an experiment.
Yeah.
And through all of that, from 50 till about 81 when she passed away, she would go consistently to different doctors. Every time I would talk to her, going to this doctor, going to this doctor, and she had 2 purses filled with medication.
Oh, no.
And a lot of times because insurance comes into play, because some doctors will take certain insurances and some won't. So if you're not in the Duke system and you have to go to a UNC doctor, they don't talk.
Right.
So you're prescribed, and if you don't know much about what you're taking, you just know it's supposed to help you. You won't tell the doctors like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking this," and you won't think to bring it. So there were a few times. I think the very last time I went with her to her doctor's appointment, we came out with half a bag of medicine. From 2 full bags to half of a bag of medication, because one medication was interacting or inhibiting another.
Right.
One couldn't go together, so that's what was causing the nausea. You're not supposed to take this medication if you've been on chemotherapy. Well, that doctor didn't know that.
Right.
So it's certain things of that nature that there were a lot of medications treating symptoms and causing more symptoms.
Right.
So you couldn't necessarily, if she said, now I feel nauseated. Okay, well here's medicine for nausea. But if that nausea medication interacted with something else, now she has a whole new slew of symptoms. Yeah. So, and I did learn that doctors don't get much nutrition education. They do get it, but it's not a lot. The way that some of the medical school schedules are set up, they're set up in blocks.
Right. And
you learn a specific subject or a specific class for about 4 weeks. Not all medical schools do this, but some of them do. So you're in your mind, you're just trying to get through it.
Right.
You're trying to learn it, pass the test, get to the next level. So, and a lot of them go off of statistics. If you're 20 and between the ages of 20 and 30, you shouldn't have this. So we're not going to check for it. When you get to 40 and 50, you probably have it now, so we're going to check for it, and now it's too late.
Right.
So it's, unless you have a really good doctor, which I have met a few good ones that really, really go above and beyond their job. They're 20 minutes because it's a 20-minute set that you're supposed to be in and ask all these questions and prescribe. If you're one of those doctors, you go above and beyond and you really, really get to know your patient and get to know what they take, and you start prescribing certain things. I've had doctors who would prescribe natural remedies, for anxiety. They might prescribe, hey, do you do these list of things? And will literally write out a list of things that you can do before they write a medication for anti-anxiety. So it just depends. It depends on who you're talking to, what type of doctor you're talking to, and what they're willing to do for you. As African Americans, and as an African American woman, we get overlooked. The women get overlooked. I don't know if you guys have heard about that.
Oh, I know firsthand. I get it. I can tell you my testimony.
We don't get the proper, as women, we don't get the proper care until it's too late.
Right.
Breast cancer, you could be sitting with it at the age of 29, and they won't check you unless you ask. Unless you have that knowledge to ask and ask why, then that's when they'll probably look at it. But then you fall into the insurance trap of, can they pay for it? So it's Smarter Than Medicine, just bringing it back around. It's being mindful of what you're doing, what you're eating, how you're treating your body. It's being mindful of, being put onto new herbs. And there's some herbs that, you guys have taught, like soursop. Never heard of it before. So now it's like, oh, I got to go find out, what that's about. Because that could help someone who may need it, who it could potentially work for. So.
That's big, though. I think you touched on a good point, and I'm gonna just public service announcement. Make sure your doctor is in your corner. I mean, ultimately, that's it. And, you know, not to get too personal, but my wife was one of those people where she had to switch doctors because the first doctor, all he saw was, listen, you're overweight. You need to lose this weight, and all your issues will just kind of disappear. But it's like, no.
Not that cut and dry.
Yeah, it's like there's some other things going on. So to me, it's like, I go to him. So, I mean, when I go to him, I'm like, listen, doc, like, my foot hurts. Holla at your boy, like, take a look at it. I don't know what's going on with it, but he's like, have you been on your feet? Yeah, but I mean, come on. He's like, when the last time you changed your shoes? Oh, okay. And then I changed my shoes a little. Okay, perfect.
It could be something as simple as, you know, changing or changing out something, but challenge the doctor.
Right.
Challenge the doctor. You pay them.
You have to.
Your insurance pays them. You take out the time to go see them. Ask your questions on why, and they'll tell you, because I've met some good doctors who will go beyond their 20 minutes and really sit down and talk with you and explain, like, for what it is. Explain it out.
Yeah, my mom's one of those people, because, like, the doctor that I was seeing, because, like, I had a scare last year, and I just happened to go there with my mom, and she was just like, yeah, I don't like that doctor.
Right.
And she was adamant of getting me to change my doctor and everything. She said, I forgot what it was and what she said, but she didn't like the doctor.
I was dismissive.
That's what she said. And I've been going to the doctor for like 2 years, and they were in network, and I thought she was a good doctor and everything, but my mom saw something different and everything. I don't even think that doctor's still at that at that location, because after my scare and everything, I didn't actually go to the follow up and everything, because I was just basically monitoring and everything. But when I went back on the website, I didn't see her name up there, so she might have moved to
She might have been dismissed.
But I'm at a new job and everything, so I have different insurance, so I got to actually see what doctors are in my network and everything. But yeah, my mom is good for that. Like, she will ask a bunch of questions, and she talks about her different doctors and which doctor actually helped her out and actually pays attention. Like, she said that sometimes, like, when she's not able to afford her medication, like, some of the doctors will actually give her samples or give her coupons and stuff like that. So that's some things that she actually pays attention to.
Yeah, there are doctors who will go above and beyond, and they will sit down and talk with you. I've had a few doctors, especially in Durham, they care, and you can tell that they care because they actually have to go see doctors themselves. They actually have to take time out to go and get checked themselves and to make sure they're, running okay. And I've had one nurse practitioner, and I was so upset when she left. But she actually cared enough to ask me personal questions, but her point was to make sure that I was getting what I needed from our relationship. She was actually building a relationship with me. And when she left, I think nurse practitioners can have a certain amount of patients, but I was one of her patients, one of the, I want to say 10 maybe, but I'm not sure. And she left each one of us a personal note.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was like, she didn't have to go out. She could have just up and left and been like, and they were like, oh yeah, nurse so-and-so left, but she actually took the time out to leave personal notes, and she took the time out on at my last visit that time to tell me, this is what's happening, this is where I'm going, my husband, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, wow, you really don't have to tell me all this. But she was like, I just want to let you know because we've built a relationship. And I was like, that was something I really treasured. I was like, wow, that's very interesting. I've never had anybody do that before.
No idea how huge that is, because I just spoke with a lady the other day who said her doctor just up and left.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
They do that a lot because there's some doctors do think more on, and not every doctor's the same. So some doctors do think on more of a quota. It's more of business to them. And there's some doctors who actually care. So you just have to know spirit that goes with the spirit. You have to know who is who and what's what and what questions to ask.
Yes, I used to have a doctor when I was in Jersey, because I'm from Jersey, and I used to hate it because you go there, and even though you have an appointment, really you didn't have an appointment. You kind of, so you used to, the plan was, you wake up, you're not feeling well, you say, I'm gonna call out of work. You go to the office, you sign your name in the book, and then you leave and go home, and then you come back and be like, oh, here's my name right here, and they'd be like, okay, just wait 5-10 minutes and we'll call you. That was the whole. That was it. Like, so even if somebody else had an appointment at 10 or 11 or whatever, my name is there first. I'm going first because I came in early and signed in, you know. But he was so funny. Like I remember his last. He passed away now, but I remember one visit I went in, and I wasn't
private.
Yeah,
private practice.
I wasn't feeling well, and he was like, "Oh, you seem kind of down. Let me give you a shot." I was like,
"Give you a shot."
I was like, "Oh, a shot of what?" Like he gave me a shot of B12, like energy. Like he was like, "You seem kind of down. Let me give you a shot." Boop. I was like, oh man, you know. Yeah. But it was just like out of nowhere. Like he was just like, oh, here. I don't even know where he pulled it from. He just kind of had it in his hand somewhere. He just, bam, hit me with it real quick. And I mean, but that's how that practice was. But this lady can't call me. She said, I don't know what to do. I mean, this lady has all of my information, and she just up and left.
Yep.
Wow. I was just like,
it makes relationships hard, and it makes, you know, the doctor who really does care have to come in and really pick up.
Yes. And that kind of like, because I used to work for an insurance company, and like people used to get upset when their doctor was no longer in network, and we try to change the doctor. And I'm sitting there like a doctor is a doctor, but like it's a call center, so you just try to. So
big pharma doctors, it's all a business, but if you find those gems, those people who actually went to school for a purpose or for their passion, that's when you know, okay, I gotta stick with you. There's been a few doctors that I follow. I'm just like, oh, you working where now? You going where? I'm coming there. You know, I'm
absolutely. Yeah, that was another thing with my mom, because like she was on the healthcare reform, and like they had to sign her to one insurance company, but that insurance company didn't take her doctor no more. Right. So she didn't want that insurance. Right. Yep. And I would just...
So people would prefer to have a pocket for that experience, for that relationship and that trust.
But I don't think people realize how big healthcare reform is. So I mean, I know some people pay more money for it, and some people, of course, don't pay anything for it. But I mean, just preventive care, getting rid of the pre-existing, you know, and mental health. I mean, those three alone were huge. And I know that people probably think like, oh, well, it's costing, again, those people more money who make a lot of money. I mean, people call in. When I was in sales at Blue Cross, people called in. One guy, he said, I make $120. I said, 120 what? He said $120,000. Sir, get off my phone. That's it, you know, like, come on. Yeah, $120,000. What you calling me about insurance for? You know, like you can pay for it out of pocket, or like, you could take the penalty, a $600 penalty for you. Who cares about that?
Some people are stringent like that.
Yeah, but yes, insurance is big, and I'm glad I work in the industry so I get it. But you'd be so many people don't get it. And that's a big problem in this country. It's huge.
And that's one of the reasons why starting out in big pharma, you know, working in the pharmaceutical industry and watching how certain medications are made, and it's just like, oh, that's what goes on behind the scenes when people, you know, representatives that come to the doctor's offices and say, hey, look, you know, if you push these samples, you get X amount of dollars. Right. Now, that doesn't happen for all, but for some of them, you know, some doctors are the spokesperson or the face of some big pharma medications.
I mean, take this example. I think this year or end of last year, they finally made a generic for Viagra. I mean, that's going to, so you no longer, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but the brand name, you're only eligible to get 4 pills a month.
Yes. Yeah.
Generic, you can get a whole 30. So, you know, people, there's one guy, I mean, I know they came, listen, I done drove 40 minutes to get this. You know, I need it approved, but that generic came out. Yeah. So you can't get that brand name no more. You got to get this generic. Your doctor has to write you a whole nother prescription. But people just don't get it. Like, they really have no idea how much goes on behind the scenes. And
a lot goes on.
And the fact that a lot of times your doctor's office doesn't handle your billing also is huge. So your information is going to a whole nother country sometimes. Yep. And that's big.
I know at least 2 people who've been overcharged and received checks a year later because of insurance improperly filed.
All the time.
Yep.
People don't get it. It's a lot. But I mean, I love this though. Like I said, I'm all about food. I told you, I think what you listened to in the beginning. I love food. Good food, bad food, fried, baked, sauteed. You know, like shrimp and potatoes. You know, like the whole thing. Like I love
savory,
food. Yes,
Southern hospitality food.
I love it. Shrimp and grits, the works.
Yes.
You know, but it comes a point where you really have to start thinking about your health. So to me, it was more of, all right, let me start eating a little bit more to fuel my body in certain ways than to satisfy those particular cravings that I might have.
Right.
Still satisfying from time to time. But how do you talk to your clients about switching that mindset from eating just to eat, those stressful eating,
stress eating,
therapy eating?
Now that's a big one, because a lot of the stress eating is more either salt or sweet.
Right.
You want something salty, you want something sweet, or you want both.
Right.
So there are certain, which is where the balls that I made they come into play, because things like marshmallows, usually those are made with marshmallows.
Sure.
Instead of honey.
Okay.
But honey is it's an alternative, and it's a lower calorie sweetener. It has more than natural sugars than the processed sugars. So a lot of things that I try to, suggest to people or advise people is to think about what you're eating and be intentional about it. Is it going to bring balance to, the core 3 things that we talk about, mind, body, and soul? Are you going to eat this Snickers bar and feel bad later on? That's you're putting that in your body, and now you're feeling bad as mind.
Not gonna feel bad.
But there's some people who will eventually beat themselves up because, like, man, I'm on this diet, or I'm trying to lose weight, and I just messed it up.
Nah, let that go.
But some people don't have that type of self-discipline to say, you know what, I deserve this. I did work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just like I planned, and I deserve, this fun-sized Snickers bar.
Yeah.
And it's all about portion. If you can't go into Food Lion and stand in the register and then look over and you see like the family-sized Snickers bar, that's not going to work after you just completed a workout. But what you can do is give yourself little, small, instant gratifications and wean yourself off. I did that a few years back. I did about a year and a half or 2 years of I dove in, just straight clean eating.
Okay.
And it does change. It does change your view. It does change your decision making as far as food and what you eat. And I think, in the morning time I would eat egg white, turkey sausage, and I made a smoothie. Lunchtime it was tuna fish wrapped in lettuce leaves. Just that type of fresh type eating. And whenever I would go out with friends and we would try to, maybe celebrate alcohol or chicken wings, fries and things of that nature, I get sick.
Oh, goodness.
Because my body had been adjusted to a certain way. So now that trickled into how I thought about things. Now I go, I would go to to eat with friends, and I might have one drink and then I eat a salad. Of course, it's the whole, if you eat a salad, we all at, Applebee's and eat a salad, and it's just like, well, because anything else, it will make me sick.
My lifestyle, man.
And my lifestyle has changed.
Yeah.
My lifestyle has changed, my body has changed, my mindset has changed. So one thing I do push is be intentional about, if you're going to eat a Snickers bar, you need to be intentional about what you're going to go through after that wrapper is empty.
Yes.
Think about that. Do you want to bring balance? Do you want to build that self-discipline? Do you want to build that intentional, decision-making? And a lot of people will be like, no, you're right. And it's like, no, the point is not to make you feel bad, but it's to make you think, like, where you want to be. Because if you go backwards, again, I go backwards.
Right.
If we go forward, if you go forward, I go forward. So it just depends on where you want to put us on this journey to making better decisions.
Absolutely. I heard a quote a long time ago that stated, you stubbed your toe, so don't go cutting off your foot.
Right.
So, I mean, if you eat a Snickers bar, I mean, you might have thrown a few extra calories in there, but
it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. It's not.
But if you chose not to eat that Snickers bar and to maybe make, I've even made something that's they're called apple cookies. So it's a sliced apple, and you can put any type of nut butter on it, and you can sprinkle chocolate chips, coconut, something sweet on top of it to curb the craving. That's kind of what the big notion is to curb that sweet tooth that you have. And it helps. It helps a lot.
It's big.
One of the things that I tried new with my smoothies is using beet juice as a base and everything. What are your thoughts on beets and everything?
So I actually just talked about this today. I had talked to my grandmother, and she has a case of lymphedema, and she was prescribed to take a form of beet juice. It was the base is beet juice. So it does help again with circulation. It does help kind of balance the salt and water that your cells kind of go through. It does help with blood circulation. It does have what's called nitric oxide, which helps with circulation. It releases that type of gas when it's eaten and digested in your body. So that helps with circulation as well. So I would say, especially for people who work out, swelling is your body's way of helping you not further bring inflammation to your muscles. So you may see. I know when I run, and it's been a while since I run, my hands get swollen. Or they get real tight. They're not like, clown swollen or anything. But they're pretty, it's like, from when I started to now I'm finished, they're kind of swollen. So it's
because of the
that's why some people run like this to kind of let their wrist loose. So for someone who is active, beet juice is probably good to prevent the inflammation, which prevents the swelling. Gotcha. But if you already have the swelling, it brings the swelling down, and then your body can work on the inflammation in a natural way.
I need you to post all your recipes, man.
I
need to print these smoothies.
So sometimes I just try to mix stuff up and everything. And I try to do background checks on like fruits, vegetables, and stuff like that. Excuse me. And I just decide to kind of mix them up and everything sometimes and everything. Because I try my best to always include spinach and kale in my my smoothies and stuff like that. And like I said, I forgot what it was that I was reading about beets and everything, and I just was walking down one of the aisles in the grocery store, and I saw beet juice because I just couldn't see myself going to get a whole beet and put it in the blender and stuff like that. So I saw the beet juice. I said, let me try this out and everything and stuff like that. So
one thing I did suggest is cooking it. You can slice it up. It's not the tastiest thing in the world, but the biggest thing with what you can do when you cook is add spices. Add different spices that are salt free. So cooking it does kind of decrease the nutritional value of it because you're cooking out certain enzymes and proteins that that carry certain vitamins and minerals. But it's still, your body still will digest it and get what it needs from there. If say the beet juice that you did buy came with the processed sugars that come with juice. I will also say if you could find stores that actually juice, naturally. I've actually been to a few places that offer shots of juiced vegetables. And it's most of the time it's topped with like cayenne pepper or things of that nature. So I would say those type of things, those places are probably better than going and get it off the shelf at your regular, non-Whole Foods type store.
Have you been to that new place, Core Life in Cary?
No, I have heard about it though. I have heard about it, and vegetarian.
Yeah.
I think it's
It does have vegetarian stuff, but it also have meat. I took my girlfriend and her daughter there. I don't think the daughter liked it too much, but it's interesting the way that they have it, because like I had the tofu dish, but like they have like I think like 6 different lemonades, and they have the one with beet lemonade,
like pomegranate, strawberry kind of thing. Or?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like 6 different ones that they have, and I can't remember all the names of it and stuff like that, but it was just interesting the variety that they have and everything, and it seemed like they basically on like health is one their number one and stuff. It's I don't know if it was just because I was paying for 3 people, but it came up to like $40. I wasn't expecting that and everything, because like I went in there I should have, because like I went in there one time by myself, and I can't remember how much I paid when I was by myself, but
it's expected. What the Health, that documentary, there was a scene where they had bought all plant-based foods, and they paid maybe about $25 for it. When you make stuff, you buy stuff and you make it yourself,
right?
It is a lot. It can be cheaper, but when you go out somewhere and you're looking for that convenience, that fee is added into it, so you're paying for the juicer that they had to buy,
right?
You know, they're paying for a whole bunch of just undercover stuff, and they make it seem like it's more than what it is, and it's really not. You make your own smoothies. I'm pretty sure you find that when you get all the stuff that you want or need to put in your smoothie, cheaper. It may be cheaper. It may come out a little on the expensive side, but if you think about how you spread it out over a week, you know, instead of paying $5 every single day to go to Tropical Smoothie or Raleigh Raw or whatever to get a smoothie, and that coming up to about $35 in a week, you paid probably $25 for all of your smoothie ingredients, and you stretched it out for a week.
Thanks.
So I think more so you probably paid for convenience.
But definitely that was, though, honestly, I mean, that's the experience I had with it. I don't know if you guys ever been to H Mart.
No, not H Mart.
Oh my goodness, H Mart is a whole nother experience.
I have spent that much in Whole Foods, and that's because I'm one of those people who likes to take adventures in Whole Foods.
If you go in those stores, because I know they have that salad bar, and I'm not sure if it's, I think Whole Foods and what's it called,
Amazon?
Market? I think there's a place in Durham also called like Marketplace or something like that. I think it's on University. Fresh Market. I think they're related, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I know Whole Foods and Amazon are building a relationship. But
because you, like, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get discounts and everything
on their online store.
That's good to know.
No, if you actually go inside, like if you you can scan, and like sometimes you'll get inside the store.
Now, Fresh Market is something different because they have this salmon salad. It's like really, really good. But Whole Foods, I mean, I've only been in Whole Foods twice, and one was for my wife wanted their berry chantilly cake. I don't know if you've ever had it. It's ridiculously good. Like,
what is it made with?
It's like and so I'm not really big on like cake like full of fruit, because my mom used to buy this strawberry banana cake when I was a kid, and I mean every year it was like strawberry banana. But I mean this cake, it was like, I mean the berries, the strawberries, raspberries, I mean it's layered in there, but it's not like overly berry. And I mean it's so light.
It's a nice balance.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. But I think we went into Whole Foods for something my mother-in-law wanted, and my wife was like, you need to get a slice of this cake, you know, so take it with you so you can try it. But I think the thing with Whole Foods is that it's so expensive.
It's expensive.
I mean, that's really it. And I think their concept of eating healthy is they have to go the whole food route.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And you don't.
I mean, there's a lot of chain stores that do offer natural sections, and there's a lot of, you know, I know my grandfather, he has his own garden, so he grows his own collard greens, tomatoes, grapes, and things of that nature. If you know people like that, you know, you support people like that, whether they charge or they don't charge, that's another way to, you know, decrease costs and expenses.
Absolutely.
So you just have to, I mean, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy because you're actually doing something to heal your body or to take care of your body. They don't want you to know how to actually do that and where you can get it from. And if you do try to go get it, they want you to be offset by the expenses of how much it costs. So that's supposed to deter you. You know, a bag of groceries from Whole Foods is about $55. That's right. That's supposed to deter you, but if you know where you're going, if you know, like you do the research on the herbs and things of that nature, it kind of makes things easier. You'll start to see the cost starting to decrease, and you start to see how easy it is to put stuff together and just like how it tastes or how you like it. Because not everything tastes well.
That's absolutely true. I guess that if you guys ever get a chance, if you're ever looking for something and you can't find it, I'm pretty sure it's at H Mart in Cary. I'm pretty sure because I was looking for jackfruit for a long time. I didn't want the can. I wanted the actual thing. And they got it. They have it sliced. They got it whole. A
lot of people have been talking about jackfruits, and I still haven't tried it and everything. Because I actually was making stuff with eggplants and everything, and I posted on Instagram, and somebody was like, "Have you tried doing that with jackfruit and everything?" So that's something that on my list I'm gonna have to try and everything to see.
A lot of fiber. It has the consistency of meat. Yes. So it kind of gives you a meal, if you will. You know, if you don't have the money, I think it was, what is it? I saw something that said that a large sum of jackfruit was donated to a specific country.
I think I know what you're referring to. There was a kid. Was it a kid? No, it wasn't a kid cooking it. I think I did hear that. It was
a group that I know that donated a large amount of jackfruit to a country because they take the. Oh wow!
Right. Yeah.
It does look good.
Yeah.
It takes the place of a meal. Oh, okay. That's how much it makes you feel full. So it does have that fiber effect to it.
Kind of it's supposed to, depending on how you cook it. This was made specifically using the pulled pork recipe.
Yeah, that's what I did with the eggplant. So were you the one that told me?
No, I think it was us. I think it was me. We did talk about that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I made the pulled pork with the eggplant and everything, and I guess it was you that was telling me have I tried it with the jackfruit and everything.
I never tried it with eggplant, so that's something I need to start playing. Go ahead and do.
So this might be something that I'm gonna try and everything. But I honestly feel like it's something that's programmed in some people's mind, because I remember there were some people at my old job, like, even though that they knew that certain foods was hurting them and everything, they continued to eat it. And like when I came in to any of the potlucks with my vegetarian dishes, they steered from it. So it was like the only time my food got eaten was when it was somebody that wasn't from our team, and they didn't even know it was vegetarian until like they found out that I was the one that made it, and they would start asking me for the recipe. So it's a mind thing.
Oh, it is mind.
Because like as soon as they find out veggie meat, it's like, how can that be veggie meat and stuff like that, and they'll go off and like they already turned their mind off from eating it and stuff like that. But like the way that I season my food and everything, it tastes just like meat.
Right.
So like it's crazy that most people like they refuse to eat healthy, but at the same time you can say they're a product of their environment, because that's what they used to since they grew up. Yeah. Because like it was this one time I was I wouldn't say dating this girl, but I went out with this girl because like I really didn't have too much interest in her. But we were at a restaurant, and I think we had a black waitress, and they were trying to get our order and stuff like that. And I was ordering my food, and she was like, "Yeah, girl, he's a vegetarian. Somebody need to take his black card."
Oh man, see, let Hey, that's ridiculous.
But if you,
my black card's been taken a lot, but not for not eating
that's
meat.
the stigma that's put on black people. Because if we actually became vegetarians, then what?
Right.
Will we all have our black card revoked?
Right.
So it's the people like us who are trying to trailblaze a new path for this culture. It's kind of hard because most people are looking at it like it's associated. Your regular milk associated with cereal.
Right.
Almond milk associated with cereal? Mm-mm. It's all about what goes and what you learn and what your parents did. Our parents did a lot of things because it was with the times.
Right.
Our parents didn't divorce you want to, because with that time you did not do that. Now divorce rate is a lot higher because it's become a norm. So it's certain things that happen when our grandparents did it, so our parents did it.
Right.
And it's trickled down to us. But I think our generation, and not speaking bad on any other generation, but I think our generation is kind of seeing beyond just that, that scope. It's like seeing it, like I said, the bigger picture of things. And it's like, oh no, you don't necessarily have to, get divorced. You can't talk. You can communicate. You don't necessarily have to eat milk and cereal. You can just drink milk. I mean, it's just certain things, small things, simple things, I should say, that you don't realize that's been ingrained.
Right.
Yes, black people can be vegetarians and vegans.
And it's crazy because most of the celebrities now are becoming vegetarian. Right. Black celebrities are becoming vegetarian. Some of them I didn't even know until they just casually brought it up and everything. And you'll be surprised how many have transitioned. I know that Maya is a big activist of being a vegan and transition and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe one day I'll transition to full vegan and everything. But
no, I like eggs still.
Yeah,
I like eggs, man.
I know I've just having the whole Instagram page. There are some very strong-minded vegans. They go as far as to not eating honey because bees make honey and bees are animals.
Nah, man. So ain't doing that.
So if if that's something that you're considering,
you're not doing that.
If that's something you consider, you gotta be all in.
Yeah.
It's to a point where they have made it like bees make honey, which really flowers do how I think about it. But
honey is like spit, isn't it? Bee spit or something like that? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how
there's
it works.
There's a middleman. The flowers is how they get it to make it. But there are some really strong vegans that say, no honey because it's bees.
And there's this one girl that I follow on Instagram, and I think she has actually a Facebook group. I think I added you to that Facebook group.
Yeah.
She basically has a vegan cookbook and everything, and she tries to help people transition that's willing to transition and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people out there that, to the people that kind of stereotype it, they try to help them transition and stuff like that. Like there was this one app that I had downloaded, and it basically goes step by step on how to transition the meal, your breakfast, what type of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to from day one in your transition, break it down and stuff like that.
But you're really not changing it. I mean, you're having breakfast, so you go to IHOP or Denny's, where you get Grand Slam, eggs, bacon, toast, grits, or whatever. We're just removing bacon. That's all we're doing.
But if you think about it, bacon is a big, big factor here. It's a big thing if you bacon infused.
Yeah, donuts and everything.
It's a big thing. So you're taking a big portion of something.
You said earlier the pigs out there. I mean, the smell and whatever part of North Carolina that was.
It's just crazy to me how many people will fight you for bacon
and chicken,
and like people that will think that you're disgusting if you try turkey bacon.
Oh, I hate turkey bacon.
Yeah, or any other type of bacon. That's not pork. That's not pork. Anything that's not pork and everything. And you see any type of meal that they have now, they you said, there's bacon donuts.
Oh man.
Any type of new burger or anything, they include bacon in it.
Yeah, the one at the fair. That's Krispy Kreme burger with bacon.
I was sitting here like, how does that seem appetizing to you? Like everybody went. I was like, everybody went wild about it. I'm like, that doesn't sound.
But that goes back to what she said. Our bodies are either gonna crave that salt or that sugar, and bacon has that salt that gives people.
Yeah, because at one point bacon was just a staple in breakfast.
It really was.
You know, our parents made it. They cooked it. It goes back to what our parents did. Now they've taken something that just a norm, and they've hyped it.
Think about it. In New York, I mean, you go to New York, what you gonna get for breakfast? You're gonna get a bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. I mean, that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting, though. If you go up north, you say, "Oh, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup." They even ask, "Do you want salt, pepper, ketchup on it?" Of course, I want salt, pepper, ketchup on it. You know, like that's it, though. That's what people are eating that every single day on bagels, on rolls, on. Salt, pepper, ketchup, bacon, egg, and cheese.
You want to put more salt on something that...
On top of salt. Salt on salt on salt. But that bacon is a problem.
I thought Southern hospitality was bad.
No. They're eating them bacon, egg, and cheeses religiously.
But we're coming up towards the end of the show and everything. Is there anything else that you want to tell people about your company, how they can get in contact with you, and how they can use your services and everything?
So just in general, so this is an infographic that I have made. It goes beyond, pushes the border of the regular business cards, but it does have my information on Instagram. It's at Smarter Than Medicine, and then it's spelled THAN. And Facebook, it's also Smarter Than Medicine. Again, the then is spelled THAN. I also have an email, smarterthanmedicine@gmail.com, and just follow, read the blogs. You can always send questions. I do try to answer within a timely manner. As far as questions you may have about personal, I have answered some personal questions in DMs or in person. A lot of my church family does ask me, and they'll ask me questions on the side, and I'll try to advise as I can. So that's what I mean by in person. But yeah, I try to do a lot of consulting, being that I am in grad school still, and just trying to help people. Like, I think I talked to someone at an event, at a Together Is Everything event, and they were asking me about your regular chicken breast and broccoli and sweet potato. And so I said, instead of putting sugar in that sweet potato and butter, put honey and cinnamon. So it's things like that I try to suggest and consult and advise on. So.
And is there like any set prices for your services or anything?
It depends on how far you want to go. Right now, consulting, as far as meeting a person and having about an hour, talking about what you want to do and how you want to go forward, is $25. So, but if you just want to drop a question and say, hey, look, what's better, this or that, I'm open to answering questions like that. So if you want it by phone, if it's like a sit down and you really want to work something out, you want to make a customized plan, then that's something we'll have to sit down with over the phone or on video or in person, and then that's when the $25 consultation fee comes in.
Okay. Well, one thing that I had it on my mind to ask you, and I think we got into something else. Is there anything that you actually put into the transition as far as the exercise or routines or anything, or you're not?
Not as of yet. Because a lot more people are kind of doing their own. They do have trainers, they just don't have nutritionists. Whether it be insurance doesn't cover or whatever the case is. But a lot of people, and I think a lot of people don't put the two together.
Right.
They think, I'm exercising, so
eat whatever I want.
Eat whatever I want because I'm gonna burn it off. But that's not necessarily the case. A lot of it's 80% of what you eat, 20% working out. Because you want to maintain what
that's crazy, because Maya actually said that in one of her interviews and everything, you can it depends on like what you're eating and everything, and you don't really have to work out as much depending on what you're eating and stuff.
You don't, but a lot of people will take what they worked out and say, I can have this Krispy Kreme donut Right. And what I want people to understand is that you can work out all day long, but if you're not eating correctly or if you're not making better decisions and being intentional, having that self-discipline, then you're going to be working out for a long time.
Well, I just had a quick question. I mean, maybe you can explain this to me because I have 2 or 3 people try to explain to me what is this whole idea of macros.
So it is more toward, it is the customization.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's weird. You try to explain to me.
That is something I have to dive into more of, but it's the percentage of fat, protein, and carbohydrates your body will take in and use as energy. Okay. The first line of defense, if you will, that your body will burn when you start exercising is fat.
Right.
After it's done with the readily available fat, because your body goes through a whole energy process to break fat down so you can use it, it's carbohydrates.
Okay.
There are different types of carbohydrates.
Absolutely.
Some are readily available. Some of them you got to do a little bit. Your body has to do a little bit more work as far as the different energy pathways. And some of them are only used when you're in a starvation mode.
Okay.
And then the last line is proteins. Most of the time you don't get to this part because your body, our primary way of burning fat is carbohydrates.
Okay.
So the point of macros is you set a percentage for each one of what you will eat. Most of the time people will set their macros for fat lower because they want to use their carbs. And if you use up all your carbs, now you're going into protein.
Right.
So it just depends on how you want your body, how you trying to tell your body, hey, look, this is what I want to use more of. If you want to use more fats, you will decrease the fats, so that will now take from the fats in your body.
Got it.
And then it'll go to the carbohydrates, which carbohydrates can be turned into fats as well.
So that means you're going to increase the protein and carbs, or?
You would increase the protein and carbs, yes.
Okay. I guess. I don't know. That's
trying to break it down.
Because I'm sure people listening, they're like, man, I heard this macro conversation before, but, and I even have a breakdown. My cousin sent me a breakdown in my email, and I'm just like...
And it also depends on what you want to do.
Right.
If you want to maintain your weight, macros may not be something that you want to concentrate on. If you want to build muscle, if you want to carb load and, turn... Because some people will go straight into building muscle because they have it.
Right.
Some people will do a carb and then they'll turn all that carbohydrates into protein, muscle, and things of that nature. So it just depends on what path. There's different paths. The keto diet is another one.
Yeah. Paleo and all these other ones. That's ridiculous.
We have one question. I think we touched on it, but I don't know how long ago this person actually asked the question, because I just switched back over to this. But a person asked, what are your thoughts on veganism?
Oh yeah.
I feel like we did touch on it.
We did a little bit, but
strict.
It's very strict. Like I said, strict, very stringent. I would say it's all up to what you want, how you're trying to go about life, how you're trying to go about finding your own balance. So if you feel like being a vegetarian or being a vegan is something how you're gonna find your balance in weight loss and fitness and just being all around healthy, then that's a decision of yours. I'm personally not a vegan or a vegetarian, and that's by choice, because there are certain things that I feel like I get a better quality. I feel like I get a better quality of protein if I eat some meats, and I've lowered it down to chicken.
There's one question that I meant to ask you previously, and I'm just now that you just said that, and her question goes on. There's this girl online, and when she transitioned into a vegan, she was basically telling females that going vegan will help your body more, because like she said that ever since she turned vegan, like her periods are only like 3 days.
I've heard more plant-based diets, veganism. It does kind of help hormones, women's hormones, estrogen levels, and things of that nature. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would
so that is true.
That is true. Yes, it is true.
Interesting. I just thought she was just talking. I was like, how is that?
But again, you're treating your body in a very sensitive type of way, because you're parting ways with how majority of your lifestyle, what you've been doing. Now you're saying, no, so you have to give your body time to process. It's not going to be instant. Okay, I can bear children, and I'm going to my estrogen levels are great and things of that nature. It's not gonna be a one type of I dive in, my body dives in. Your body's gonna lag because this is a total 180 change.
21 days at least.
At least 21 days, and it takes what? I think how long does it take to build a habit?
21 days. Yeah, it's 21
3
days.
weeks. Yeah. So.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to ask before we close out?
I think we're good. I'm so happy to have these little treats. I'm definitely gonna eat one tonight. I can tell you that right now. No, I think we're good. I appreciate it. I'm definitely gonna send you that book.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I have 2 of them if I'm not mistaken, like 2 different ones. But whenever I find a book, especially at the thrift store, if you find they're like a quarter or 50 cent. You know, that's why I used to get my records from too, because I got a record player at home also. But whenever I find a book on food, recipes, it could be anything, I always buy it because I love food. So it would just be, you know what I mean? So that's just my thing. Like, I mean, and that's why I said I can appreciate this business because I do believe that if you watch what you're eating, you'll see how amazing your body can be.
Yes.
And it's just the natural way that it is.
Okay, well, like I said, I do appreciate you coming in,
absolutely,
talking about sharing your information. Because, like I said, that's one of the main things everybody tries to start every year is their diet and everything. I know me personally, like I'm trying to see because, like, I feel like I changed something and everything. I'm trying to see exactly what I'm changing with me and stuff like that. So I'm going through a different type of diet and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I feel like this will help a lot of people with their New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. And it's not always, even though like me and him are vegetarians, like I don't force it, because like the reason I became a vegetarian wasn't because somebody like pushed it down on me, and that's how I feel about in life. You can't push your agenda on people and everything, but you can just suggest it and stuff like that. Like everything's not for everybody is how I feel.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think initially, so first of all, again, no food allergies. I think I mentioned that. I think initially my openness to food came from rejecting a certain food. When I was maybe 15, 16, I was in New Orleans, and we were at what's the name of that stadium in New Orleans? Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And the guy was coming around, gator sausage. And my dad was like, "You want to try one of these sausages?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." But I'm telling you, that haunted me for at least 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
Because I was like, dang, I really should have tried that gator sausage. And ever since then, I've tried practically everything. Frog legs, the works. Like I was like, I'm not going to turn anything down.
I actually tried gator. Like I forgot. This was like a couple years ago. There was this place, and ever since I was I think it was middle school, we were dissecting frogs.
Oh yeah, we were.
And the frog legs looked so good for some reason. And I said I always wanted to try a frog leg.
Yes.
But when we went, this was in I think it was somewhere in Georgia, and the frog legs had frost bites. But they had gator bites. So I ended up eating the gator bites, and I enjoyed it.
Yes.
At the fair recently, they had the gator bites and shark.
Ooh.
And I was like, I didn't end up having shark there, but like when I went to Thanksgiving with my sister, we went to the farmer's market, and they were actually selling shark there. And I ended up buying that, and I seasoned it and cooked it up myself and everything. It was good.
Oh goodness, I'm sure it was. Why not?
Yeah, I've had crocodile, one of those.
Probably smoked. Is it smoked?
It was.
I know they smoke them out in New Orleans a lot.
I don't know what it was. It was good. It was actually pretty good, but I don't know if it was smoked. Like I just know somebody cooked it.
I think they smoke all those gators. I don't think they do anything else with it.
But other than that, I actually got, I think Tuesday, let me see if I got marked, because I got to update my calendar. Yeah, Tuesday we actually have old guest. He is one of the people that has been on the show many times. He's going. Most people might know him by the Fat Boy. He done changed his name back to just Fat. I actually did a couple of music videos with him and everything. They haven't been released. I don't know. Maybe I asked him then if he when he's planning on releasing them and everything. But we are going Tuesday have Fat, and I know that there's probably like 2 other people that I'm supposed to put on my calendar that I have not updated on there yet. So I'll most likely Tuesday let y'all know exactly, because I think there's just a couple days that we don't have any people, and we might have open discussions and stuff like that. But next Tuesday we do have Fat on the show. So if you want to keep up, is the most recent songs that we have been playing on the show with him is Taste and Cupcaking. So if y'all remember those 2 songs, those are the ones by Fat. So he'll be on the show. It's going to be a call-in interview and everything. He has a couple shows that he's going to be doing and a couple events that he's going to be doing as well. So he might talk about that as well. And other than that, I'm trying to think, is there anything that I'm missing? Oh yeah. Plug your song.
If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at TL Double, and Facebook Troy Lee. But yes, Debate Amongst Friends is also on Instagram, as my colleague would like to say. On Twitter, we're Debate Amongst Fra, because you couldn't spell the whole thing out. But Debate Amongst Friends on Facebook as well, the group page and fan page.
Oh yeah, and if y'all notice with our picks for the wild card, we did compare it with Debate Amongst Friends. I am thinking, because I didn't actually look exactly, but I think Joy, unfortunately, is got the top picks, and I'm kind of glad she didn't call in, because she would have been gloating about that.
Pick the Eagles.
Yeah, she did pick the Eagles. She picked the Eagles, and she was the only one that picked the Eagles too. No, Chris, who's an Eagle fan, picked the Eagles as well, but. Most likely tomorrow or Saturday morning, you'll see they have already made their picks. So I'm just trying to get our picks from our people. We'll have it posted up on Quarantine Enterprise, our picks and everything, and I'll most likely have.
I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because that Cowboy game, I'm not sure. I really feel like the Cowboys might win, so I'm not.
Cowboys
sure.
and Rams.
Yeah, I don't know. Jared Goff, I don't know.
Yeah.
It took me a while to make that decision, but I went with the Rams.
I like the Cowboys defense and everything, but I like the Rams defense more, and that offense I feel it's a little bit more balanced. But we'll talk more about that later. But be on the lookout for that. Other than that, I keep on forgetting to actually. Oh, somebody asked me when we're talking about. Well, yeah, we're not going to talk about R. Kelly tonight.
You got to play the last. We talked about on Tuesday.
Yeah, we talked about Tuesday. Yeah, but we're not talking
discussion on Tuesday.
Yeah, but other than that, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know it's a different transition as far as just getting everybody to go into quarantineenterprises.com to view everything. We're no longer doing the Facebook Live, so I'm going to try to. My mom said I need to make it a little bit more user-friendly to people that are not too tech-savvy. Sure. So I'm going to try my best to do that. I'm going to try to code it a little bit more on the site so people can actually see that. Because I think when you go on the site, it doesn't automatically start live streaming the video, but it does start live streaming the audio. But we're going to work on that. And also, if you're a woman and you're trying to play flag football, hit us up at info@quarantineenterprise.com. We'll give you all the information on that. Other than that, once again, I appreciate Kristen
Yes,
Kristen, for coming on the show and giving us all the tips. Other than that, this show has been Quarantine. We'll see y'all next Tuesday, alright?
Hey, this is Nola Ada, and you are now rocking with Il McKenzie right here.
Yo, what up, world? It's your man 504 Detroit. You already know every Tuesday and every Thursday I'm tuned in to the hottest radio station across the land, Quarantine Radio. So they push it down and they play all the hottest new music. Let's get it.
It's your boy Gabe, and I want to give a big shout out to Quarantine Radio. Make sure you check them out every Tuesday and every Thursday. And thank you for supporting my new single, Down Low.
I want to hear that new soul-free wisdom on Quarantine Radio.
Yo, what's up, man? It's the Kid Swift, baby. Young Swift. One time for the check-in with my dog, my homie, Il McKenzie. Straight out of ATL, Georgia. And you know how we rockin' out here, baby. Let's get it. I tried being humble. I tried being humble. I tried being humble. Humble get no respect.